All right, welcome everyone to this webinar called The Art of Sales and Recruiting. And as you can see, the ART is an acronym. We're going to go through that here. If you don't know me, my name is Sean Smith. That's a picture of me up there on the first slide. And I've been coaching and training, teaching in the direct sales world for about 11 years now. This is one of the most common questions I get asked and one of the most common things I coach my clients around. It's about how to talk to people, right? What do you say in order to get somebody interested in the business or interested in the product? And so what I'm going to share with you tonight is what I've learned over the last 11 years coaching and talking to people who are very, very successful, so I can give you the distinction, right, about what the successful people are doing versus what the people who are struggling or just could be more successful are doing. And right out of the gate, I think it's important that you understand it's an art. It's not a science, right? That's why we have the word art as the acronym. We're going to talk about three things on this webinar: what to say, what to do, and how to be, right? So I love to start with this quote: people may doubt what you say, but they will always believe what you do. Words will be words until you bring them to life. This is a great quote for this webinar because it talks about all three of these components, right? The words that you use, the things that you do, but then how can you bring it all to life? How can you make your words more animated with your energy, with your body language, just with your passion, right? That's what's going to separate you from either other people or what you've done in the past, is when you have all three of these components really working in conjunction with each other. So that's what we'll talk about again on the webinar: is saying, doing, and being. And let me tell you a few things about what the webinar won't be. The webinar won't be super long. And for those of you that have been on my webinars in the past, that might be a shock to you. But for others, that might be a very welcome sight. But we're going to keep this relatively short. We're going to keep it uncomplicated. So this webinar is not going to be complicated. I don't want to make it difficult for you because this shouldn't be difficult. And I'm also not going to give you a bunch of rules. Now, one of the things that a lot of people want are rules, right? What do you say when somebody looks like this? What do you say when somebody dresses like this? What do you say when you're in a supermarket? What do you say when you don't know somebody? What do you say to your aunt? And the answer to all of those questions is it depends. I mean, there are no rules when we're dealing with human interaction, right? So I'm not going to give you a list of rules to follow. I want to give you concepts. I want to teach you how to think more and how to be more on your feet, right? So let me tell you what the webinar will be. It will be short, it will be simple, but hopefully it will be liberating. That's what I want most for you, is I want you to feel a release of some kind of restriction, whether the restriction is in your head or sometimes it's actually in your physical body. You can feel a release, but I want this to be freeing for you, because here's the truth: regardless of what company you're in, what product you're selling, what season it is, regardless of any of the details, you're in a people business, and that requires you to talk to people, right? As a person. And you can only succeed to the levels that you're capable of in doing that freely. You're not ever going to do that in a restrictive manner and be as successful as you could be, right? The most successful people in this industry are people that are relatively free with their energy, with their words, with their emotions. They're free. So that's what I want for you after this training. Now, I also want to let you know that this isn't just something that is conceptual in nature. This is something that is proven. And when you make some of these shifts that we talk about, even though a lot of these shifts are going to be intangible, they can lead to real, tangible results. So I just want to share some things that a few people have said when they've made some of these shifts, what can actually happen, right? Kim said she went from 26 to over 70 team members, 4,000 over $10,000 in production. Michelle said she sold over $1,300 in 2 weeks just by focusing on having more fun. Diane said she's booking at least one person every day. Antonella said as soon as she got rid of her perfectionism, her income tripled immediately. I mean, think about that. Most of the challenges that people experience when it comes to talking to others in so many different facets of the business really are a function of perfectionism, right? So when you can clear yourself of that perfectionism and again, be more free, then it's amazing what can happen. You'll be more attractive. People will want to do what you are doing. They will receive your training a lot more. They will want to join the business and want to buy products a lot more because you have freed your energy up. So there's a lot of really powerful, tangible results that can happen when you make these shifts. Now, of course, nothing is promised. It all depends on you and how much you put into it. But I just wanted to connect those dots for you because a lot of times people think that anything that is intangible by nature, like the doing part or the energetic part, they don't think that those can lead to real results, or they don't see the connection as clearly as they need to. And because they don't see the connection really clearly, a lot of times they then decide that it's not worth trying, right? And I want to clear that for you. And I want you to be in this webinar in a place of expansiveness. I don't want you to bring all of your limiting beliefs to this training. I don't want you to think about all the things that you've tried that haven't worked in the past. All of that kind of thinking is going to keep you stuck. I want you to be living in possibility right now. I want you to be thinking about how, no matter what you've experienced up until this point, from this point forward, everything can change if you open yourself up mentally, energetically, emotionally, even physically. When you open yourself up to something bigger, then you can achieve and attract something bigger. But you'll never achieve or attract something bigger while thinking smaller, while thinking about all of the past failures that you've experienced up until this point. So I want you to really suspend all of your disbelief so that you don't repel some of these things that could make a shift for you and change so much in your business. So with this acronym ART, the three letters are going to stand for three different things. The A is going to stand for represent, rather, what to say. The R is going to represent what to do. And the T is going to represent my favorite part, how to be, right? So let's get into this acronym. And first, I want you to really soak in this quote from Patricia Dunker. She says, "You can say anything, if it is beautifully said." This is a great leadership mantra. It's a great recruiting tool to remember concept. It's a great sales concept. As long as you say things beautifully, you can basically say anything. It's not about the words that you say, it's more how you say it, right? So to start this off, letter A in ART stands for anything. Say anything. That's not just a cool movie from a few decades ago with John Cusack. It's actually a recruiting mantra and sales mantra. Say anything as long as it gets you into a conversation, because nothing's going to happen in your business until conversations take place. And there is no rule about what you need to say in order to get somebody interested, in order to get yourself energetically open. There's no rule. There are different things for different people, right? So I just want you to say anything. You can say hello and just start simply that way. You can give them some kind of compliment and see where that takes you. You can ask some kind of question that's genuine, based in curiosity, right? Say anything that gets you into a conversation. That's the key. What gets you into a conversation? Now, one of the things that a lot of people ask is, should I use scripts? It depends. That's how most of my answers are going to start. It depends. If a script opens you up and allows you to have something to think about so that you have permission from yourself to get into conversations, then use a script. If a script causes you to shut down because now you're concerned that you're not going to say the right thing, or when you say the thing that you had memorized, they don't say what you are expecting them to say, so then that throws you off, then I would say don't use a script. Whatever is best for you, whatever gets the best energy from you and the best responses for other people, do that. There is no such rule out there that says scripts should be used or scripts should not be used, or anything should be done or shouldn't be done. Again, we are in a people business. Each one of you is a unique person, so we have to take into account all of your strengths and all of your weaknesses and all of your circumstances, right? All of those things matter when we decide what you quote unquote should do. And the reality is, you should do anything that gets you in motion. That's the piece, right? And energetically, how are you coming across? So, regardless of what you say, I do want you to remember this: say it with a smile, say it physically with a smile on your face, but energetically with a smile in your body. I mean, that's what most people are missing is actual joy and happiness and passion. You know, most people are walking around on this planet being consumed by all of the urgency or all of the challenges and all the misery, you know, all the negativity in life. Most people are walking around consumed by that stuff. They don't have cause a lot of times to smile, right? And what they need from you is a warm energetic hug and a warm energetic smile. So it's the energy that matters more than what you actually say. So here's my coaching for you: open your mouth and say stuff. Open your mouth and just say stuff. Whatever comes out of your mouth, as long as it's the right energy, it'll be perfect, right? Now, I'm sure a lot of you've heard this before. Many of you might have even trained this before. And before I go any further, let me address that. I don't want you to take a look at this webinar and ask yourself, do I know this intellectually, this stuff, these percentages, these concepts? Do I know this energetically? I want you to ask yourself, do I do this? Is it in my body? Is it in my habits? Because I'll tell you that you don't really know something until it's in your habits. If you have to continue to motivate yourself, if you have to remind yourself to do something, if every time somebody says no to you, it emotionally destroys you, then you don't know this yet. You might intellectually understand it, but you don't know it until you know it in your cells, until it's a part of your DNA, until it's a part of the way that you walk around on this planet. That's when you know this. So I don't want any of you to just take any of this for granted because you've heard it before, because you've taught it before. Ask yourself, am I living this concept? Am I living this principle? And if I'm not, then maybe this is a great reminder of what I need to focus more on. And most of you have been in personal development through whatever business you're in for a long enough time to where at this point in the game, your breakthroughs are going to be relatively minor on the surface, meaning the things that you get, it could be one word or phrase that I say on this webinar. It could be one little graph. It could be one small idea that you get from anything that I say over the course of 45 minutes. And that could be what you needed to hear. And that little thing could be the trigger that moves the needle in your business. So I don't want you to think that all of your breakthroughs have to be these monumental, seismic, earth-shattering breakthroughs like they once were. At a certain point, your biggest breakthroughs are going to be relatively minor in nature, but they're going to be monumental in outcome, in the result, right? So that's what I want you to be searching for. What's the thing I need to be reminded of, or what's the thing that's been missing for me in order to change my energy and change the results that I'm getting in sales and recruiting, right? So this information right here, many people are aware of it. And unfortunately, most people are not living by it. This is one of those ideas that I think most people would say, yeah, I've heard that before, but yet they still focus way too much on the words, right? The essence of this study, and it doesn't matter if these percentages are actually true or how they even measured them. None of that matters. I don't want you to miss the essence because you're worried about, the accuracy or how it all came about. The essence is most of communication is nonverbal. It's your body language, it's the way you move, it's the energy you give off. The verbal part of communication, which is still 45%, most of that is still not dependent on the actual words that you use. It's more about the tonality in your voice, the rhythm, how you use the words, not the words you use. So most people understand this concept, yet most people are still afraid of talking to other people because they don't want to say the wrong thing. So if you don't want to say the wrong thing, then you don't get this concept because you're pretending that the right thing actually matters. And the right thing doesn't matter more than, in this graph, 7% anyway. So I would rather you say the exact wrong thing that accounts for 7% of your communication, and then do the right thing with the 93% of your communication, then you'll be fine. Even if you say the exact wrong thing, the stuff you're not supposed to say, you can go up to people. I used to do this actually. You can go up to people with the right energy, with the right magnetism, right? With the right rhythm, tonality. You can go up to people and talk to them about things that would otherwise turn them away. I used to go out and have no contests with teams of mine, and the contest was however many no's you can get, right? Whoever gets the most amount of no's wins a prize, like they get dinner bought for them or lunch or whatever. And so we would go out and we would try to get no's. And one of the things that I would do is I would go up to people and I would say, hey, listen, I'm a part of a pyramid. Now, you wouldn't be interested in that, would you? And it's amazing how many people would say yes to that. And I'm like, I don't want you to say yes. I want you to say no. But they were vibing off of my energy. And I had this upbeat energy because I just wanted them to say no so I can collect a little tally mark and move on. I didn't want to talk to them, but they were attracted to my energy. They were attracted to the motion in my voice. They didn't even really care about the words. A lot of times they would say, well, it depends. What is it? Right. And so that taught me that the words themselves don't mean hardly anything. And so I want you to remind yourself of this and check in with yourself. Are you spending way too much time filtering your words, practicing your words, worrying about saying the wrong thing? If you are, then you don't know this yet. It's not in your body. It's not in your habits. It's not in your DNA. It's only lodged in your intellectual mind, but it needs to get out of that space and get into your habits, right? So don't focus so much on the words that mean the least. That's what I want you to get out of this. The thing that's least important is the thing that most people are putting most of their energy and worrying the most about. That will just keep you stuck, right? So that's the A in the art of sales and recruiting. Say anything, but just say it in the right way. It's more about the energy than the actual words, right? Now, this quote I love from Jay Danzy. It says, your smile is your logo. Your personality is your business card. How you leave others feeling after an experience with you becomes your trademark. Again, this is a people business. You're a person talking to people about real world people things. So the way to create connection in this industry, in this business, is to relate to people. That's the doing part. Relate to people. Again, there are no rules. I'm not going to tell you say this and don't say that, because relating to one person could look different than relating to another person, the very next person you see 5 minutes later. So I want you to understand the concept, not necessarily the rules. Now, when you relate to people, there are two components here that I want to talk about. Number one is creating a connection of rapport. Rapport is critical, and rapport is an energetic, trust-based connection between people. If you have rapport with somebody, they trust you. If you have rapport with somebody, they'll follow you. If you have rapport with somebody, they will want to be around you more. So rapport is not just liking other people or having them like you. Rapport is creating an energetic connection that's based in trust, right? Now, one of the ways you can do that, there's three main ways you can do that. And some of these, again, might be simple, but don't underestimate their power just because they're simple. The first one is eye contact. Intentionally and warmly look people in the eyes. I think we all know the eyes are the window to the soul. We all have been taught to look people in the eyes. So again, this is not a new concept, but a lot of people don't focus on it enough, or they don't allow themselves to maintain warm, connecting eye contact long enough or with the right energy, right? You can look at somebody in the eyes and they can tell whether you're with them or whether you're in your head, trying to figure out when you're going to talk about your business, trying to figure out what you're going to say next, trying to find something in their words that you can latch onto. They can tell if you're actually listening or if you are seeking to recruit them, right? If you're trying to get something, if you're hunting, that's probably a good distinction. Are you listening or are you hunting? When you're hunting, you might be looking in their eyes, but you're looking in their eyes with a different energy than when you're really truly listening to this person. The second thing that's critical is that you have open body language. Open body language means that you're inviting. It means you're squared up to them. You're not turned in one way or the other, kind of giving them your shoulder to look at. You don't have your hands hidden in your pockets or in a bag or under the table. You've got to be warm and inviting with your body language too. That's one of the best ways to put people at ease energetically and unconsciously, is to let them know with your body language, I'm here. So if you energetically are present with them, your body language will be perfect. If energetically you're not present with them because you're worried about what they're thinking of you, or you're worried about whether they're going to join, or if they join, how much they're going to invest into inventory, or whether they're going to do a party for you or whatever, then you're really not there for them, right? So your body language is crucial so that you can physically let them know you're present. And then I already talked a little bit about your voice. How can you relate warmly with your voice? Well, pay attention to the tone that you're using. When you speak to a child, you usually speak differently than to an adult. And when it's a tender moment, like you're telling the child that everything will be okay, or that you care for them, or that you'll help them find their mom or dad, when you speak in that tone, or to a child like that in that situation, rather, you have a different tone than when you speak to anybody else in almost any other scenario, right? So your voice is showing that child that you care and that it's going to be okay. But if you think about, and if you pay attention to how we speak to each other generally, we don't speak to each other with that same level of care in our voice. And we definitely don't speak to ourselves with that same level of care in our voice. Usually when we speak to ourselves, we're vicious with ourselves, right? Because we're beating ourselves up for the things that we didn't do, and everything that we're not. But what if you, with your voice to yourself and to other people, your intention was to show people that you cared? So with these three elements, your eye contact, your body language, and your voice, you can speak in a way, stand in a way, sit in a way, look at them in a way that lets them know, I'm here with you and I care about you and I care about what you're saying, right? That's the way to create relationship. That's the way to create rapport and allow the connection that already is between two people to really come to the surface so they can sit in it. It's like just sitting in this nice, warm, energetic bath when people show up that way. And I'm positive we've all had people that when we're in their space, they let us know how important we are to them. And then we've all had people that are the exact opposite. No matter what we're doing or saying, you can tell they're really not here, right? So I want you to just constantly check in with yourself. Am I here? And how can I show this person I am here? Maybe that looks like you put down your phone. Maybe it looks like you put your hands on the table if you're sitting across from them. Maybe you sit next to them instead of on the other side of the table from them, right? You don't really need to learn a bunch of rules. I mean, there are a bunch of rules when it comes to creating rapport. I don't like teaching them because I don't think that's the best way to learn them. You don't need to learn a bunch of rules. Just continue to check in with yourself moment to moment. Am I here and am I showing them I care? And then your body, your eyes, and your voice will do what they do perfectly because they are genuinely coming from a place of being present and caring, right? And then the second thing, I already talked about time, tone, and tempo there. Well, maybe I didn't. So the tone in your voice is, do you have like a sharp tone, or do you have more of a relaxed, soft, caring tone, right? The tempo is how fast you speak. Are you speaking really, really fast? Or are you speaking much slower? People can usually grasp things and they relax a little bit more when people are speaking slower. The volume of your voice, are you speaking really loud, or at times do you really quiet it down, for emphasis or to draw them in, right? So your voice is a profoundly important tool to use. And most people don't use it effectively or intentionally, right? So those are the elements, those three elements. But from a conceptual standpoint, you've got to be more interested in nurturing relationships than you are in getting something from people, right? It's about serving them. And I want you to be more committed to nurturing a relationship than nurturing or getting rather a customer or getting a recruit. Because if you focus on nurturing relationships, you'll get more customers and you'll get more recruits to join your team. But most people are looking through people to what they hope they do. I really hope they purchase this service or this product from me. I really hope they join my team because that would be fantastic. I could actually hit my goal before the end of the year. Don't look through people. That's disrespectful, and energetically, it's the wrong way to go about your business. And I'll even be blunt and say you don't deserve success if you're looking through people and you're not really fully committed to the relationships. And again, you'll know, yeah, I believe if you check in with yourself, are you more interested in what's best for this person, or are you more interested in this person being on your team and this person paying you money for a product so that they can become a customer? What are you actually more interested in? And when you are more interested in relationships and more interested in the happiness and service of other people, they'll feel it and you will get better results. Okay. So that's the R part of art. A is say anything as long as you say it the right way. R is relate to people. And then Dalai Lama is going to tee this last one up. If you're honest, truthful, and transparent, people trust you. If people trust you, you have no grounds for fear. In today's world, trust is one of the missing elements between people, right? And the way to build trust nowadays is different than it used to be because of society, because of the internet, because of social media. So the way to build trust nowadays is to be transparent, right? To be transparent. And we're not talking about anything negative as it relates to transparency. We're not talking about you showing up without substance, like you're being fake or you're just being see through, right? We're not talking about that. We're not talking about airing all of your dirty laundry and telling everybody everything there is to know about your life, even the things that are inappropriate or the things that don't relate to whatever it is that you're talking about. So a lot of people are afraid of being transparent because they're like, I don't want everybody to know all my secrets. That's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about saying everything in every single moment. What we're talking about is energetically being transparent, energetically being open, being honest, being real, and coming from a place of love. Coming from a place of love. When you operate your business from love, and I know that sounds like kind of a woo-woo, almost too like spiritual, up in the clouds concept for a lot of people. But when you really truly come from a place of love, people feel it. And so I want you to check in with yourself. Do you still love the business? Do you still love the mission? Do you still love why you decided to say yes once upon a time? Do you still love the idea of helping other people? Do you still love the idea of serving? Do you still love connection? In this business, the same thing creates everything good and everything bad, meaning people is what creates most misery in this industry, but it's also what creates most love in this industry. The people who love their business, they love the positive attributes of people. They love the connection. They love the celebration. They love learning from others and just meeting new people. The people who are not having fun in this business, they are hating all the negatives of people. They're focusing on people who don't do what they say they're going to do. They're focusing on people lying. They're focusing on people not following through. They're focused on people giving the wrong names and numbers, saying they're going to come to an event and not come to an event, talking about how amazing this is going to be and how much they're going to just blow this whole business up. And they have 50 people that are coming over to their house, and that's the last time you hear from them before they join the witness protection program, never to be seen from or heard from again. That's what those people are focused on, all the negative stuff. But at the core is still people. So I want you to check in with yourself, maybe every single day, maybe multiple times a day, maybe before getting on the phone or before talking to somebody. Make sure you're coming from a place of love. Are you in love with being alive? Are you in love with being an entrepreneur? Are you in love with every possibility this business has, regardless of the challenges you've experienced up until this point? Can you put those aside and still focus on love? As simple and as elementary as that sounds, love drives business results. Love drives business results, not intellect, not accolades, not all the things you've accomplished in the past, not your past evidence of success, not how quickly you get to a certain spot in your company. That's not what drives business results. What drives business results is love. So, what are you coming from? Are you coming from scarcity? Are you coming from lack? Are you coming from urgency? Are you coming from the need to achieve a certain goal so you can feel better about yourself or so you can prove to somebody else that you're worthy? Are you trying to achieve something so you can get favor from somebody, a better judgment from somebody? All of that is dirty. All of that is dirty motivation. It's not clean. It's not pure. You've got to come from a pure place of love. That's really what drives business results. So check in with yourself all the time. And one of the best things to look for is, who are you showing up as? Are you showing up as a person, or are you showing up as a performer? When you show up as a performer, you're trying to impress people. You're telling them about your accomplishments. You're focused on the intellectual reasons they should join a business, or the reasons you joined a business. You're trying to impress them. You're trying to get a positive judgment from them. You're trying to get something from them. You're doing something so they will do something in return. That's all based on performance. When you show up as a performer, your intention is not pure. Your intention has some ulterior motive to it. You have an agenda when you're showing up as a performer. But when you're showing up as a person and doing all the things that I've talked about, you're just transparently opening yourself up to another human being. You're connecting as a mom. You're connecting as a father. You're connecting as a wife. You're connecting as a person walking along this planet with another person right in front of you. That's how you've got to show up, because that's what people want. That's what people connect with, and that's who they trust. People don't trust performers. People trust people. And people trust people that they see themselves in, right? So I want you to show up as who you are, not what role you have in your particular company. That's a big mistake that way too many people make. They show up as the distributor. They show up as this person that has it all put together, that can answer all the questions about whatever it is that your industry is. That's coming from the wrong place. I want you to simply show up as a person. And here's the thing, you don't need any rules to do that. That's just a permission thing. Are you going to give yourself permission to be more fully expressed about who you are? Not pretending to be super smart, pretending to be perfect, pretending to have all of your ducks in a row. Because when you show up as perfect nowadays, people get suspicious. When you show up as the person that doesn't make any mistakes, when you show up as the performer that has everything all put together, that hair is perfect, makeup is perfect, you walk fantastic on your, in your heels, you don't say when you speak. When you show up as that person, people don't trust you because there's a lack of realness and they don't get it, and there's an energetic mismatch, and that causes suspicion. They will follow you more and further and more loyally when you're real, just like they are. And you don't have to be the top of the mountain. You just need to be a few steps ahead of them, and be willing to help them, be willing to put a hand down and help them step up this same mountain that you're climbing. That's what people need nowadays. And that's why so many people struggle in this business, because they don't give themselves permission to do that. All of your fears and all of your doubts and all of your insecurities and all of your limiting beliefs are wrapped up in you showing up as a performer. None of those things are wrapped up in you showing up as a person with no agenda other than just to connect and see if there's something that's a fit here. Now, I'm not saying on any level, I'm not saying don't talk to people about your service, about your product, about your business. That's not what I'm saying. But make sure there's a fit first and make sure there's a connection first. And sometimes you're going to connect with people and you'll realize your business isn't a fit for them and you'll never bring it up. They'll never know that you represent a certain product or that you're involved in a certain company. They'll never know that. And you might just get a friend out of it. You might get something that you needed to hear that day because you showed up more as a person than a performer. So this is a permission piece for you. And that's really the secret, you guys, because I've been talking to people over the last 11 years, really, truly wanting to find out what is the secret sauce. And the secret sauce, more than anything, is this energetic piece of how you be in your interactions with people. How do you show up and where are you coming from, right? Now, if you have challenges in this arena of talking to people, selling, recruiting, leadership, all that stuff, I don't want you to get upset by that. I want you to realize that your biggest opportunities are always found inside your biggest fears. That's where that's where they live. They live inside the resistance. They live inside the avoidance. That's where your biggest fears are. I'm sorry, your biggest opportunities are. They're inside the fear. So don't get upset by that. Even if it doesn't feel good, get excited by that. So if you're saying to yourself, because of what I'm saying on this webinar, or you've said to yourself in the past, I can never do that. I can't talk to people smoothly. I'm so awkward. I can't be a salesperson. I'll never be a good recruiter. If you have any of that junk going on in your head, I want you to get excited about the opportunity to improve. Because that's what the message is for you. It's an opportunity here to improve, to get better, to touch more lives, to be more successful in your business, to make more money, to have more fun, to be happier, to pass on whatever it is you want to pass on to friends and family and children and all that stuff, right? That's what your resistance and that's what your fears are delivering to you, is an amazing opportunity here. And that's why I said towards the beginning of the webinar, I want you to be looking at everything through possibility and not through all of the previous failure. So when you implement this stuff and when you go out there and talk to more people, I want to give you 3 ways to assess your progress. Because what most people are doing is they're only focusing on their tangible results, right? Am I in the car? Do I have the title? Have I made X number of dollars? Do I have this many people on my team? I don't want you to focus only on those tangible results. I want you to focus more on process and more on your energy. So the first thing I want you to do is judge yourself according to the actions you take and the actions you control, not the decisions that other people make. If you make 10 phone calls and that was your goal today, you win. I don't care if nobody answers. It's not up to you to make sure that other people answer. You don't control that. And if they answer, it's not up to you to control whether they say yes or not. You don't have any idea what could be going on in another human being's life that makes it impossible for them to say yes to you today. So how dare you judge yourself according to the actions and decisions and choices that other people are making based on factors that have nothing to do with you. That's not fair to you, and all it's going to do is make everything harder for you to stay in action. So always, always, always judge yourself based on the things that you can control. The second thing, view every interaction with a person as a possible transformation, not as a possible transaction. Most people that show up as performers, they're focused on transactions. How can I get? How can I get a name? How can I get a number? How can I get a prospect? How can I get a referral? How can I get a sale? How can I get a customer? How can I get a bigger order? How can I get a reorder? How can I get a team member? That's all getting. That's all transaction. But what if you showed up and you were open to the possibility of transformation, even yours sometimes? Sometimes the transformation is going to be you learning from somebody that you're talking to. It's going to be the smile that they give you, not just the smile that you give them. Sometimes it's going to be a seed that they plant in you that sprouts and changes your life for the better later on down the road. And you've got to be open to any and all transformation, regardless of which direction it is. And when you show up that way, everything is easier and everything is more inviting, everything is more calming, more relaxing, more successful, more joyful, happier, and you'll get better tangible results that way. So again, this is not all fluffy, woo-woo kind of stuff. You will get better results, way better results, when you focus on this kind of energetic shift, when you focus on transformation rather than transaction. The third thing I want to give you, this is success in general. Focus on the journey and not the outcome. Are you learning? Are you having fun? Are you changing lives in the process? Are you helping people become better? Not did you achieve that goal that you set for yourself at your last convention? Did you climb up that mountain that you've been trying to climb for 2 years now? Did you finally get to it? Outcome-driven success is dangerous. And for the most part, for most people, it's miserable, especially in an industry like direct sales, where most of the things that you get recognized for and most of the things you get compensated for, you don't control. So it's miserable for most people to focus on a target that they don't control, especially when that target is out in the future. If you want to be something, if you want to hit a certain target that's going to take 4 months or 4 years or anywhere in between, that means that you don't have anything to pat yourself on the back for today. Tonight, when you're done, you don't have anything to pat yourself on the back for because the target doesn't live in today. The target lives in the future. It doesn't live in the present moment. So I want you to be able to lay your head on the pillow every single night and say, I succeeded today because I did these things today. My journey was positive. My journey progressed today. I helped people today. I made somebody feel good today. I walked this journey properly today. That's why I'm a success. Now, that doesn't mean that you give up on any of those future-based goals. This isn't an either or conversation. It's an and conversation. But what I find is that most people in society, and definitely most people in direct sales, because of where all the focus is usually placed, most people don't focus on the journey. They're only focused on the outcome. They're only focused on the results because that's what everybody's talking about. Everybody's talking about results. Everybody's looking at results. Everybody's expecting results. Everybody's getting recognized only for results. So how can you really, truly source your joy and source your success from the journey when everybody's focusing on and talking about and hearing about and expecting results? It's not easy, but it's possible, and that's how you're going to stay in the game longer. That's the key here. You're going to stay in the game longer when you give yourself permission to keep going simply because of the journey that you're traveling, not because of whether somebody says yes or picks up the phone or joins your business or sticks around and gets their goals. That's not fair to you. But it is possible and it is fair to you to focus on how you walk this planet and derive your joy, your pride, your success from that. That's a game changer. And it'll get you better results, I promise. So before I go further and before I open it up to see if there's any questions, I want to tell you about a program that we have that's going to take these concepts and dive deeper into them so that you can implement these energetic concepts and some of the techniques into every area of your business. So we have a program called it's called Fearless Speaking for direct sales. It's a group program that's starting in a few weeks, and it's something that we've never taught in the direct sales world. Now, I've taught these concepts to speakers and trainers and coaches and one-on-one clients and small groups, but never in a format like this where we break it down and say, here's how you can communicate better on the phone. Here's how you can communicate better one-on-one with people you don't know. Here's how you can communicate better with people you do know. Here's how you communicate better in front of a small team that you're training, in front of a large stadium of people, right? So this program is going to take all of these energetic concepts and techniques and tips, some of the actual to-dos, and apply them to your business so that you can be a better speaker and a better communicator. Because here's the thing, that concept and element and skill set is the most undertrained and underemphasized component of your business in my experience. How to show up differently and how to communicate better. Because remember, this is a people business. You're a person talking to other people. What's going to determine the success or failure of your business is your ability to communicate, your ability to open your mouth and talk. That's really what drives everything, is your ability to communicate at every step along the way. So what would happen if you increased your ability to communicate, your ability to be more magnetic, your confidence, if you got rid of some of the fears that you have, because all of those things, those negative feelings and the negative head talk you have, that's all getting transferred energetically from you to your prospects and from you to your team members. So I want to teach you how to shift all of that, how to get rid of any of the negative stuff that's going on up in your head, how to create more positive energy, more confidence, more magnetism in your business so that people will want to hear more from you, so that people will want to join you more, so that people will have a deeper connection with you and you'll have a deeper connection with them. So that's the essence of this program. Let me tell you some of the details about it. It's going to be 8 live modules. We're going to do 2 times a week, so it's going to be a relatively quick program, relatively short modules, taught by me during the holiday season here so that you can be prepared for the new year. That's the key, right? I don't want you to think, oh, well, there's not a whole lot of people that are going to be joining my business in November and December. First of all, if you've already decided that, you've already lost. But second of all, even if that's true, even if your business is not going to have as much energy, as much rhythm, as much momentum in the holiday months because people are focused elsewhere, that's the perfect time to work on your skill set. That's the perfect time to practice some of these things that you're going to be taught so that come January, come February, when people are riding the highs of all of their New Year's resolutions and all their proclamations and declarations and promises to themselves, that's when you want to be better in your skill set, right? So the whole purpose of this program is to get you more confident in communication and presentation and speaking skills so that you can connect with your audience, whether it's a one-on-one audience, a one-on-two audience, a one-on-10, a one-on-100, one-on-1,000, or over the phone or anything in between. And just like any other course that we do, there's coursework, there's going to be assignments for you to practice in between. I'm going to set you up as best I can, coming from a teaching perspective. I'm going to set you up as best I can to be able to implement, to be able to succeed, to be able to soak all of this in, but put it into practice as quickly, as easily, and as powerfully as possible. Everything will be recorded so that if you want to listen to something over again, you can, or if you miss a live module, you can go back and listen to it on your own time. So you're going to have archives, you're going to have a Facebook community where you will have the support, you will be able to bounce ideas off of each other, and all of those things combined is what really makes a group program successful. So we're going to give you all of those educational aspects. And as always, we give some bonuses as well. I mentioned that there's going to be 2 calls a week other than Thanksgiving week. We don't have any calls during Thanksgiving week, and we'll get done with the program midway through December, so it's not going to get into the holiday season like a conflict with some of the timing of the holiday season. And you can, again, listen to it all on your own time and go at your own pace, right? But my goal for you is to give you a lot of this information so that come January, you're prepared, you're ready, right? So some of the bonuses you get, you'll get access to a new program that we're building right now called the Confident Communicator. It's an online course. It deals with a lot of the internal stuff, the negative head talk, the fears, a lot of the things that people are struggling with internally. And whether you're struggling with this or not, I can tell you that most people are. So this is going to be something that you're going to be able to teach your team members if you're a leader, or you're going to be able to clear yourself of a lot of the challenges that you may have. This is another online course. It's sort of like phase one in a 3-phase process. I would say Fearless Speaking for Direct Sales is phase two. The Confident Communicator is basically phase one, and you're going to get both of them if and when you join the Fearless Speaking course. As almost all of our programs have, you got a 2-month membership in the Eagles Club, which is a monthly program, a little shot in the arm of motivation and key concepts that'll help you in your business. If you ever do decide to invest in private coaching with our company, you'll get a coupon worth $100 toward any program that you want. And I love giving fast action taker bonuses. So we've got dozens and dozens of people on this webinar. For the first 5 people that invest and jump in this program from this webinar, for the first 5 people from this webinar, you're going to get an additional 90-minute small intimate group mastermind session with myself. We'll do individual hotspot coaching if that shows up. We'll get you prepared for the program. I'll just find out how I can support you guys and how I can help you with anything that's going on in your personal life and your business life. So it's a very small, intimate group coaching session, basically. And we'll do everything we can to get that done before the program starts. So that's what the first 5 action takers will get. There is a link right there. You can see coachshansmith.com/fearless speaking. For those of you that are on the phone, Coach Sean, SEAN, smith.com/fearless, FEARLESS, and then a hyphen, a little dash, speaking. And that will take you directly to the page. And what I'll do, those of you that are on the webinar, I'm going to type this in. So I just typed it in and I sent it to everybody. So that should actually be a clickable link. Sometimes people don't understand what I said, or they type things in wrong, or for whatever reason I say it wrong. And sometimes people need a link to click. So there's a link that you can click on for those of you that are on the webinar in your console. So those are the bonuses for the course. What we'll cover in the course, the concepts. I'll teach you the ABC process to tame your fears so you can be more confident at every level of your business and every area of your business. We'll talk about centering. The way to get people magnetically attracted to you is to be more present and more centered. It's not to chase them and not to impress them with language and memorize scripts and stuff like that. It's an energetic presencing and centering that you've got to do. So we'll dive into that. We'll talk about connection at a deep level. There are 5 components of connection that I've learned, that I've taught, and that I use all the time. And as I mentioned, we'll talk about the different applications in your business, whether it's over the phone, one-on-one conversations in person, whether you're seated, whether you're standing, small group meetings, whether it's a training meeting or a home party or presentation, and then the big stages. What are some of the things you can do when you get in front of a lot of people, or you do videos that you want a lot of people to see, right? So I'm going to take all of these elements that I've been studying and implementing and teaching for over a decade now from a speaking standpoint, and specifically apply it to the direct sales industry at every area of the process, right? Selling, recruiting, feedback, referrals, all of that stuff. So that's the intention of the Fearless Speaking for Direct Sales course. The value is well over $500. I mean, it's hard to put a price tag on something like this because, think about it. What would it be worth to your business if you were to amplify your confidence and amplify your ability to connect with people, and that caused you to get a recruit that you wouldn't have otherwise gotten, or to get some customers that you wouldn't have otherwise gotten. I mean, over the course of a month, over the course of 6 months, a year, 5 years, what does this particular skill set mean to your business? I mean, we could easily argue that it's thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, customers in, recruits in, it's thousands of dollars worth, this particular skill set. And if you don't have this skill set, if you're afraid to talk to people, your business is severely restricted. Severely restricted. And if you could be making an additional $500 a month, $1,000 a month, if you had better speaking skills, better connection skills, better leadership skills, if you were more persuasive, if you were more influential, let's just say the number lowball was $500 a month, then that's what it's costing you every single month to not work on these skills, right? So I want you to think about that anytime you have an opportunity to invest time, energy, or money. What's the cost of not taking action? What's the cost of staying the same? That's what a lot of people don't focus on. Most people are afraid of losing money. They're afraid of putting time into something that ends up not working. Most people are afraid of failing. They're afraid of being embarrassed. They're afraid of whatever it is that they've learned over their past, right? They're afraid of repeating the mistakes of the past. And they forget that standing still is the most dangerous thing you can do. It's the most dangerous thing you can do on this planet is stand still. And the most significant and successful people on this planet are more afraid of standing still than they ever will be of making a fool of themselves. They're more afraid of standing still than they are of failing. Even failing miserably, like going down in a ball of flames, they'd rather do that than stay still, because they know that if they stay stagnant and they don't keep moving, then life will pass them by and they'll never, ever see what they're made of. They'll never, ever achieve any of their goals and dreams, which require forward movement, which require you to lean into your fears, which requires you to create and embrace the doubts and the negative head talk and all the stuff that's created at the edge of your comfort zone. Most people understand who are successful. They understand that that's the process. Most people who are stuck in mediocrity, they either don't understand that process or they're just not willing to touch the negative experiences. And so they stay stuck in the middle of their comfort zone and they never go any further. That's a concept. Whether you join this program or not, maybe that's what you needed to hear tonight. That's the concept that's going to propel you forward and cause you to be more willing to take action. I would rather you take ignorant action than intelligent hesitation, because intelligent hesitation will never, ever get you to your goals. Ignorant action has the ability to get you to your goals. Now, I'm not saying I want you to be careless, but I want you to stay in motion. Otherwise, you cannot ever achieve anything in your life by thinking about it. Your intellect has never achieved anything in your life. Your intellect only keeps you stuck, focused on what can go wrong, focused on all the reasons why you shouldn't jump, all the reasons why you shouldn't take a risk. That's what your intellect is designed to do. If you live more committed to your intellect than you are to your heart, then you will constantly and forever stay in the middle of your comfort zone, because that's the only thing that your intellect has the ability to do, is keep you stuck right where you are, afraid of failing. I would rather you be afraid of never seeing what you're made of than be afraid of failing. The question is, for most people, what are you more committed to? Are you more committed to trying, or are you more committed to avoiding the pain? And if you're more committed to avoiding the pain, I don't mean to be a buzzkill. I'm not trying to, put it out there in any kind of negative sense. This is reality. If you're more committed to avoiding pain, what you have in front of you is a lifetime of pain. It's a lifetime of just a different kind of pain. It's a pain of regret. It's a pain of questioning yourself. What could I have become? What could I have done? How come everybody else is exceeding where I am? How come everybody else is achieving some of these things that I could achieve too. Well, the reality is, if you're not allowing yourself to take action, you'll never achieve any of those things that require action. And it's a mindset shift that most people need. So the value of this course is immense. I mean, we put a $500 value on it. It's much higher than that when you understand these concepts. When a single thing, a small shift that you might learn on module 8 in the last 10 minutes might be the only new piece of information you get, but that's the thing that moves the needle and gets you to the next level of your mentality, and that gets you to the next level of your energy, and that gets you to the next level of your skill set, and that gets you to the next level of your company. But it's got to go in that order. It's got to be an inside out shift. So the investment in the program, what we're asking, is only $147. You've got to have some skin in the game. And if you need a payment plan, we have that available too. Only $59 times 3 months. And hey, check this out, you guys. The program only lasts a little bit over a month anyway, right? So we want it to be simple for you to say yes. We want this program to pay for itself before you're done paying for the program. That's what we would love to do. We want it to pay for itself before you're done with the program. Now, the payment plan, as you can see, costs a little bit more because there's, financing involved. But if that's what you need, that's what you need. And there's a 30-day money-back guarantee. If at any point in time inside the first 30 days of the program, if you don't feel like you got what you came for, if you don't feel like I delivered on what I said I was going to deliver, then just ask for your money back. No questions asked. We'll give you all your money back. So that's the Fearless Speaking for Direct Sales program coming up. If it's something that you believe is in your next, the next part of your journey, then do it. With a money back guarantee, there's no reason to say no. There's really no risk on your part, because if it doesn't work out, you're going to take some of the information you learn. There's nothing to lose, and you get your money back. So why, if this is a part of a skill set that is going to help you, there's really no reason to say no. And I'm not saying that as, a slimy sales tactic. I'm saying that as a concept of human growth and evolution. And it's just smart business. If you believe that you're going to learn anything that could possibly earn you more than $150 in the future, then now it's a positive ROI, and that's just a smart business choice, right? So that's the Fearless Speaking for Direct Sales. I don't know if those first 5 spots are taken. I don't know how many people have jumped in. If you have jumped in, I'd love to celebrate with you. So let me know in the chat here if you've jumped in the program, just so that I can say thank you and say welcome to you. And if you have any questions about this program or about anything else, then go ahead and chat them now. I'm going to go to Q&A here in a moment, but my last comments to you are really about what it means to look back on your life and how we're going to assess the way we lived. At the end of our lives, we're going to assess how we did it, not what we did, right? On your tombstone, you will not find your ending bank account. It won't say she got into the pink Cadillac, he got into the white Mercedes, he finally hit the top of his company. That stuff's not going on your tombstone. So don't pretend that it's more important than it actually is. What's going on in your heart and what's going to leave the legacy for you is about how you did this thing, how you lived life. And specifically, were you more committed to chasing your little girl or little boy dreams, seeing what you could get out of yourself, or are you more committed to protecting yourself from more pain? If you're more committed to protecting yourself from more pain, then here's the grim reality. And again, I don't mean this to sound negative. I don't mean this to be abrasive or to be harsh in any way. But when we're talking about human evolution, you guys, this is the reality. if you're more committed to making sure that you don't experience any more bumps and bruises along this road, then you have to be content with everything you have right now, because you can't get more. You can't get more without leaning in and taking a little more risk. You can't get more than what you currently have unless you're willing to do what you're currently not doing. And the recipe that you're currently following with your skill set, with your mindset, with your current level of belief in yourself, in success, in society, your entire belief system, it all is forming a recipe that can only get you what you currently have. If you want more than what you currently have, your recipe must be upgraded. Your recipe must change. Otherwise, you're only going to get out of the oven what you've been getting out of the oven until right now. But if you want more than what you have right now, your skill set needs to be constantly upgraded. Your emotional control and mastery needs to be constantly upgraded. Your confidence needs to be constantly upgraded. Your fears need to be tamed more. You need to have more control over your limiting beliefs, over the negative head talk. You've got to constantly improve your recipe if you want to improve your results. But here's the crazy thing, and you see this all the time too. The crazy thing is, most people are not willing to change their recipe, yet they're expecting their results to change. How is that possible? How is it possible to get anything different out of the oven without changing the recipe? How is that possible? It's not. And yet that's what so many people are doing in their life. They're afraid to take risk, yet they're expecting and they're wishing for an improvement in their results that requires risk, that requires investment of time or energy and money, but they don't want to do that, yet they want to get the outcome. You can't get the outcome without going through the journey. And that's one of the most beautiful things about this industry, is it allows you to come face to face with yourself so that you can learn the things that you need to learn to take you to the next level. The people who are willing to do that can become unstoppable. But the people who are not willing to do that are unhelpable. So hopefully this webinar has been valuable for you. I want to hear about it. I want to hear about your results, whether they're internal, intangible, emotional results, or whether you recruit somebody tomorrow because of one of the things that you heard and a shift that you made. I want to hear about it. Share it with me on social media. Share it with me on via email. Please let us know how you are consuming this. So I want to take just a few minutes here. I'm going to go into the chat box here and see if there's any questions about anything at all, the program, or any other comments. Awesome. So I see Kimberly says, I'm in. Woohoo. Awesome, Kim. Thank you. Welcome to the program. Kareen says, I'm in. Welcome, Kareen. Martha, I'm in. Welcome, Kareen. Tournier says, is this on your website for the future? No, it's not. I mean, it will be on a website. It's not on our main website. We're going to send those people that want to listen to it again, or that didn't get a chance to listen to this, we'll send them to a web page that has the replay of this. And so you mentioned your husband. So he'll be able to see this on a replay page in the future. Getting some comments about thank you. I love some of the things you said, etc. So I appreciate all of that, and I want you to implement. I want you to soak it in. I want you to share as well, right? I want you to share with other people, with your team, because what's exciting about direct sales is that the lessons you learn when you share them and teach them become exponential. Right? Even if you only have one other person that you teach this to, now there's two people out in the world on your team that are getting improved results. And when those two people become 4 people, become 8 people, become 100 people, the ripple effect is monumental when you improve these skill sets and change your energy. Kimberly says, what are the days? Kimberly, if you're in, you've gotten all the information emailed to you. I can tell you the days are Mondays and Thursdays. Again, everything is recorded, so you can listen however you want. Martha says, can you please re-show the quote that starts with your smile is your logo? Let's see. Let me do that. Uh-oh. Are you guys still with me? I want to make sure I didn't end the webinar. I tried to, oh, there you go. That's what I'm looking for. I tried to just go to my slides so I can get back to that. Okay. Okay, great. Still here, still here. Okay, perfect. So here's that quote, Martha. Your smile is your logo. Your personality is your business card. Uh-oh, why'd it go blank? Let me try again. There you go. Your smile is your logo. Your personality is your business card. How you leave others feeling after an experience with you becomes your trademark. So I'll leave that up here in a little bit. Thank you, Ramona. I appreciate that comment. Powerful nugget you got. Fantastic. Christine from Decatur is in. Awesome. Kimberly, the times I believe are 4 or 5 p.m. Pacific time. They're in the evenings here. All right, so it looks like most of the other comments are just comments about the webinar. Doesn't really relate to everybody's conversation here. So I wish you all the best, everybody. I appreciate you. I acknowledge and admire you for continuing to show up, continuing to say yes to yourself, continuing to work on your skill set, continuing to get better, and more importantly than all of that, continuing to bring a lot of people with you. I love your heart. I love what you stand for. I love being in your space. And if there's anything that we can do to help you, then let us know. For those of you that are joining the program, we can't wait to start here in a few weeks. If you're not joining the program and this is where our journey ends together, then I hope I've said something to you or you've thought about something based on a slide you saw or a word you heard me say or a phrase that will better your life in the future. And again, if there's anything we can do to support you going forward, then please let us know. All right, everybody, take care. I will stick around and answer some of these questions that you guys are saying, but I'm going to end the recording. And I just wish you all a blessed evening, day, whenever you're listening to this. Good night. God bless. Take care, and I wish you all the best. I'll talk to you soon.